Hello. Today I'm going to talk about update on the DC Universe New 52 and some of the titles that I picked up and sort of my continued general thoughts about the reboot to the DC Universe. First off, let's take a look at some of the titles that I'm picking up in my comic pool list. First off, of course, there is Justice League #1. For your classic Justice League characters. I think it's a pretty good start off with the series. I'm interested to see where they're going with it. Sort of from what I'm understanding in some of the other books, though, it's kind of strange how the timeline flows in to Justice League, but a little bit more on that later. Right now, of course, in this first issue, they're still forming the group, and pretty much all you see is Batman and Green Lantern is pretty much all that's in that one. Then we have my second title that I'm picking up, Justice League International. Sort of an unusual group we have here. You've got Blue Beetle actually as the leader, which is unusual. And of course, you've got Guy Gardner, Godiva, Vixen, Ice, Iron General, Rocket Red, Fire, and of course Batman as sort of the unofficial member. In this new series, basically, the UN has created Justice League International because they wanted their own group that they can control, unlike the Justice League, which is sort of, in the new universe, unofficial. Just the Batman and the other heroes decided to get together and form this, but don't have any official sanction from anybody. So the UN decided they wanted a group that they could control and manipulate to do their dirty work or whatever. And they got this group together and got, of course, Booster because, they figured they could control him, which, I love Booster Gold. He's one of my favorite characters. But yes, he is gullible. Come on, let's face it. Of course, Guy Gardner's upset because he's not the leader. He's being his typical normal guy self. And of course, Batman is unofficial sort of liaison from the other team. Basically, of course, the UN wanted somebody from the real Justice League so they could keep tabs on them. And of course, Batman wanted to get on this team so he could keep tabs on what the heck the United Nations is doing. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to give this a few issues and see if it goes anywhere. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, I'll drop it. Green Arrow. Yep, he's back, and it's more like the old 80s style Arrow, but with a little bit more edge. He's got some gimmick Arrow stuff. He seems to have more of the Batman-esque Arrow sort of team. He's still head of Queen Industries. He's got the money. He's got the super gadgets. He's got a staff that works for him. It's kind of interesting. I really like to see where this is going. DC Universe Presents, where they'll be showcasing different characters every few issues. They're starting out with Deadman, Boston Brand, one of my favorite characters, and it's a good opening for the series, and pretty much is sort of the background reboot for Deadman. Which of course brings us to the link for Justice League Dark, which I think is a great concept, having a Justice League just to deal with supernatural threats. However, I'm not so thrilled about the actual team itself. Of course, obviously you're going to have Zatanna. And of course they got Constantine. Okay, I could see that coming. And Deadman is a good addition. But then you've got Madame Xanadu and Shade the Changing Man. Well, okay. Madame Xanadu, I never really much liked the character. Basically, she's just a mystic version of Oracle. And that's pretty much all they use her for. I don't know. And then you got Shade the Changing Man, another character I've never been too super on, but it's just so far out in left field. And from this first issue, it seems like he's a little bit more powerful than he used to be, and so he's more of a heavy hitter. But I'm really upset that they didn't go with a more traditional supernatural superheroes, such as maybe Dr. Fate. But maybe because they didn't go with that is because another issue I have with the New 52 universe, there's no Justice Society of America. So maybe there is no Dr. Fate in the new universe or something, because there's no Justice Society of America, except for what's his name, the Fair Play, Mr. Terrific, yes, which is one of my least favorite Justice Society of America characters, has his own title, which I figure will not go anywhere. But so there's no Fate, there's no Justice League in the new universe. And that brings me to my sixth pull that I got, Batgirl, which I will admit, of the six that I got, is probably the best written of the series. I really liked the new reboot of Batgirl. However, I will say it does suffer from one flaw, and that's the same flaw that the whole new reboot for DC Universe has, is they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to reboot these characters, but yet still have them have a lot of the same backstory, which isn't possible really given the time constraints that they've set up for the new universe. Because pretty much none of these superheroes supposedly existed more than 5 or 6 years ago. However, a lot of them, especially in like the Batman titles, have their whole backstories crammed into this really short amount of time. How did Batman go through 3 Robins three Robins in 6 years? Or have Damian, before he became Batman with Ra's al Ghul's daughter, since he's 8 and he's only been Batman for 6 years. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. Batgirl, of course, is like, in the fourth year of her career, and she was Batgirl, and then she was Oracle, and now she's Batgirl again, starting off in this issue. I'm like, what? It's just ridiculous. So anyway, that's sort of a quick recap on my thoughts on the new titles. There are a few more titles that I'd like to pick up, but I just don't have the money. But I tell you, half of these 52 reboots, I wonder if in like 2 years they'll still be publishing them. Well, they may still be publishing them, but I don't know how they'll be making any money off of them because, I just don't see it. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the current DC Universe. I'll continue to update with more interesting comic stories and anecdotes as we continue. If you got a comment, make a comment in the box down below. If you liked it, of course, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. And until the next time, y'all have a great day.